Back on camera here, we're wobbling on the bench. I weigh more than Ted. Basically, what you see in front of us are the summer off-season toys. I'm not going to talk about them right now, but what we're going to talk about is what Ted and I have been discovering about skating.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, we'll just jump on it. We'll just do the same things we do on snowboards, and away we go.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
No.
So Ted can tell you from his perspective how long this road to learn to ride a skateboard actually is for us.
For us. And that's an important point. If I were a child or just younger, I might be a little less frightened. I was telling Jim the other day, the learning curve on this is unreal. It's so long. And don't dare get on the board without all my gear on. I'm going super slow. I'm doing things, I'm standing. And you're getting all this feedback. And way different than the snowboard. Way different. And I told Jim, I said, I'm terrified.
Okay, so that makes perfect sense. Because of our young age, youthful old age, we have to take a whole different look at this. It isn't just riding, it's standing on something, it reacts different. The concrete is way harder than snow.
Oh, yeah.
We all know that. And the consequences of a bad move on the concrete are far more damaging to us personally.
Yeah.
So consequently, it is a long road. So on this road, if you looked at the boards in general, Ted's board's on the far left over here. You can see it's kind of long and spear-like. And Ted, just the first couple days, what were you able to do with that long spear?
I could go forward.
So Ted could stand on it, and wherever it was going, Ted went with it. Would that be the best way to describe it?
I didn't have a coordinated kick on it by any means.
You stood, you followed, correct?
Yeah.
Much like people on a snowboard when they start out in the winter. Very similar.
And sometimes the board went by itself. I stayed where I was.
Momentarily until he hit the concrete. All right, so that's kind of what happened. So for me, I had been on a longboard before, so standing on it and going straight wasn't a problem. Getting off of it is a bit of a problem, etc. So I've probably taken more hits, etc. But realistically, Ted's board is very thin. So what happens there when Ted stands on it and steps edge to edge, which would be a beginning phase if you were snowboarding, tipping it over on the toe side and heel side, would be one of the first fundamental movements.
Yeah.
But because Ted's board is fairly stiff, he doesn't weigh a lot, consequently his tip over on the edge was kind of minimal. So what did we have to do to kind of increase your tip over there?
We softened the trucks,
Softened the trucks?
Unscrewed them a bit, and I got some more pointers on where to put my feet in relation to the edges.
Heel and toe,
and starting to think about that.
So the process for that has been from standing on it, finding that the ground took you where you wanted. So we look for very flat, straight ground, rock-free when we can find it, but that's hard to do. And Ted has gone from that to now starting to develop a toe side, which would be the same as somebody snowboarding, because the body bends more effectively toe side than it does heel side, and we're always afraid of falling back anyhow. So in defense of that, he has worked on that, and he's also now softened it up a little bit more. We've talked about taking the
a little bit to the heel.
A little bit to the heel side, but again, it's narrow. If it was wider, Ted could apply more pressure and tip to the edge on both sides. If it was wider, it's very narrow. He doesn't weigh a lot, so he doesn't distribute a lot of leverage across it. So all of these things apply to snowboarding too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if it were a snowboard, I could do it.
Correct.
I could do it. But I'm trying to apply my thought process to my snowboarding. Learn how to turn big first, and then gradually squeeze down the size of the turn until I own the movement of the
Right.
board.
So one of the biggest reasons you don't feel anything the same is the snowboard is on the snow, cutting
Yeah.
into the snow.
Yeah.
This is above the concrete, cutting into nothing,
Yeah.
but you are above it. So therefore, we're operating on more of a rolling device than a sliding device. So
Oh yeah.
in that, basically what we're saying is it's a long road. I have bought the board over here on the right side, which is a land yacht cruiser. Ted's board's kind of a cruiser board. They're meant to kind of go straight, a little bit of turning, etc. So anyhow, our road for this is going to be slow, painful, but long. We're not in a hurry, whatever. But we are understanding a lot of fundamentals. So for me, talking about the tipping and the edging, I'm starting to experience it much more on the elevated Carver surf skate here because I'm higher up. That in itself created a problem because my other board over here on the right is much lower, allowing me to be closer to the ground, but I don't have the same type of tipping edge that I have on the Carver here because I'm higher up, so I therefore can tip in more. So we won't talk any more about that, but our road is long and slow. We keep it safe, we keep it whatever, and we'll develop it as we go, and that's how you should develop your snowboarding. So we're out on that,
Yes.
and that's all I got unless you got something there.
No, that's
Okay,
that's good.
cool. We're going to go out on that.